Well, holy balls of hell, it's our Zen. What's up, everybody? This will be a fun show. This is some things that I've talked about before, and I want to readdress, or is it redress here? So we can, as always, get back to how the mind works and the tricks that people play with themselves, mostly. Cognitive dissonance, subjective objective reality incongruencies, the concept of directional language, lawyer talk, you'd call it, um, and well, we're going to get into the ego. You know, this is just something that comes up so often in the enlightened community. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to wait a little bit, so whoever's coming to the show in the future, you got to wait a second, because I'm going to wait for people to come here live before I have to explain myself again. So I'm going to put my camera down, and we'll see who shows up. It is about noon, but we'll really dig in here. And then I think I'm going to do 2 more shows. I'm going to put this one we're going to end this show, and then I'm going to do another one probably on, I think we'll do the Flat Earth show today. And we'll do my 101 show today. Look at all of these things we're doing. Look at all of this that you're going to learn today. You know, it's going to be not that every other day isn't absurdly powerful and out of control crazy. That's what I'm putting out there for people, but this should be quite revealing. Let's see if we can get this in here. It's unbelievable. 2 minutes in, no one showed up. This is unheard of. We'll see. If, oh no, we're gonna play with the bad connection now, aren't we? Hey, there's my little guy. That's wicked. There he is. Wow. I kind of like him there. I think I like the way the shot is set up there. Put the red ones there. Look at this. We'll do a little bit of some leading lines. Work with a little bit of angles. Larger ideas. There he is. But man, it's 2.5 minutes in. Nobody showed up. What should I do? Should I just do this show? Should I just do it live without anybody here, or should I do it for the one person that showed up? I don't expect everybody to show up right on time. Whenever I do these things off the cuff, so we'll see who's in the room. We'll see who wants to participate. And this should be fun. It's something. It's a video that I made a long time ago on basically the system of mental health and medicine. It's a very interesting. We're going to do a very interesting look at it. And I think I should be able to cut this whole thing down to 20 minutes and really make this obvious to people, so we can really start to understand what the larger system is, and how people that are within the system think they, you can't fix the system from inside of it. This is always the key to these ideas of understanding how your mind works, not how society's mind works. This is the concept, and I'm going to get into this deeper in a little while, which is that if you go to school at a university, you're going to school at a university, say for mental health, say you want to go for psychology or philosophy or some sort of mental health degree, you're at that same school that is causing all of those issues with all of the marketing agencies. You're going for marketing and sales, and you're going for there's in the same exact school system, there's every other thing. There's the pharmaceutical company. They're literally at that school pushing all of their education. And well, I wouldn't even call it an education, whatever it is, pushing their pharma. And everything in that school is completely against mental health. So to believe for 1 second that mental health education that somebody's going to get from a piece of paper has anything to do with actual mental health, and not mental health driven towards an agenda to be part of the system, to be healthy within a completely corrupted system. And what healthy is, what up Electric Towel, and what healthy is in and amongst that completely corrupted system is on health. So as I always All right, all right. What up, Granny? What up, Zet? What up, Electric Dow? Even though it says there's one in the room, um, you know what? I said I was gonna wait for some people, and I also want to see. I kind of started my rant, but I'm happy to start it over. Um, and I also want to see what if this is gonna keep doing a lag, if this is gonna disconnect, it's gonna be worthless because it's gonna be quite a powerful and big talk that I'm really gonna um, boil some things down into its essence so we can really get to some mental health understandings and some qualifiers for talks that really are the essence of engagement with the human, with the actual living human, and where it comes from. And obviously you all weren't here for the last, because we're about 6 minutes in, so I kind of did like a 3-minute little entry point into the ego, into mental health, into these paradigms of the school systems, and I'll get into that a little more. So let me give me 1 minute, and we'll see who else shows up, and I'll see if this connection stays good, and if it does, then I'll go from there, because I'd rather not have this chopping out, because I don't want to have to do this talk again. This will be a kind of a sister talk to the 101 that I'm going to do, because these are some basic understandings that people need to have. The 101, like I said, is going to be on levels of existence, on good and bad, evil, these kind of things. But this here, we're going to get into the real basics of what the human is, the human thing, the mind, the meta world, the ego, the mental health paradigms that are where they come from, and what their agenda is, and the connection to a lot of things. So let me just let this scroll through, and let me know that you're all still there and can hear me. Let me know what's going on your side, if you can hear me well, if it's choppy or anything. Cool. Okay, but Zet, you can hear me. I mean, you're still there, right? It's pretty good on your side, and you're not losing any words from me. You're not losing any language. Because these little 101s, I almost feel like I should do them not live, so that way I can record it, and I don't have to worry about any of these. It's just a slight lag, but you're not missing anything, right? It's not choppy. It's just lagged. Like you're just a little behind. You're catching all my words though, right? So during this as well. Okay, cool. So during this as well, let me know if any of things that I start to say, it starts to like, if it breaks up, if there's like a big missing section, let me know so I can repeat it. Because again, I said this is going to be like a 101, a baseline thing where this is going to be one of the videos where I think I'll make people listen to before they come to any of my shows. It's showing intermittent offline, but am I offline? Like, I'm not seeing it on my side. So now I got to kind of question, should I do this on here, or should I just record it? But if I record it, I don't know that I'll be able to upload it, because I just don't have enough room on my phone. And if I record these things, unless I just do an audio, I mean, I guess I could just do that. Well, whatever the case, I mean, as long as you guys are hearing me, you know, and if I got to do this again, it really doesn't matter. It's not like I'm reading off a paper and I'm gonna burn it. You know, this is all in my brain, anyways. So here goes. I'll start from the beginning, where I was kind of before y'all got here, and I want to talk about the ego, and because this is a popular misconception in this whole love and light nonsense, and this whole, oh, we got to get rid of the ego, or people think they know what the ego is. I want to start with that, and then I want to get into people that are psychologists or psychotherapists or think they know what's going on. Yeah. So let's start. Let me just start with what an ego is. Here, you can all look it up too. You know what? I hate to move this phone around too much, but here, I'll read it to you. I mean, if I put it in front of the screen, let me see if it's gonna work. Let's see here. Let's see here. Let me scroll up here. Well, is it gonna work? Can we see? I mean, it's probably not gonna come in, but there we go. But you all should look it up. There it is. I don't. It's probably not gonna come too well on a replay, so I'll just read it to everyone. And I'm gonna get into. We'll get into the ego, and then I'm gonna get into these ideas of psychologists and therapy and all of these kind of. I've done this before, but it's even more apparent of how nonsense it is, and I'll explain why. So the ego is a person's sense of self-esteem or self-importance, or the part of the mind that mediates between conscious and unconscious and is responsible for reality testing and a sense of personal identity. In metaphysics, it's a conscious thinking subject. Now, people like to say, here's the problem we always get into. Everybody wants to have this objective, subjective debate. Now, we're going to get into why that's a huge problem in this whole community of people that are love and light, and they want to talk about the ego doesn't exist. Oh, I've gotten rid of the ego. It doesn't matter. I don't identify with it. And then they play what is called lawyer talk. They play semantics games when they start losing the conversation, and they just kind of think they're know-it-alls. And I find this happens all the time. So let's start with the ego again. Once again, if you didn't have an ego, if you got rid of your ego or didn't identify with it, in metaphysics it means a conscious thinking subject. Then therefore you would not be conscious and you would not be thinking. It's pretty self-explanatory. You can't just give me a different definition. Like I'm reading it right from the definitionary. And it says, part of the mind that mediates between the conscious and unconscious and responsible for reality testing and a sense of personal identity. So if you can't test reality and you don't know who you are, as I've always explained, you'd be in either a state of samadhi or a state of complete nothingness, where you'd be drooling all over yourself. You'd have nothing to do. You'd have no identification. You would have no reality testing. So if you can't test reality and you're not a conscious thinking subject, that's the problem with this whole ego thing. The thing is to have an ego because you need to have a personal identity. This is how we play this game, so we can all be our magical, wonderful, special selves. That exactly I'm what I am and you are what you are, and that's how we have our experiences. And it's a sense of self-esteem and self-importance, and that's a problem that we have in society today. That it's all taken away from you. You said you're not special. You have no. What's up, Natasha? You have no self-importance. You shouldn't have any self-esteem. Well, that's bullshit. Everyone should have a very healthy self-esteem. Everybody should have a very high self-worth. You should know exactly your value. You should get up every day and know exactly what you're worth. That's the point of this. So when people go on and on about not having an ego or killing the ego or the ego doesn't matter or I've ascended that, and then it's ridiculous. It's absurd. And it's basically like talking to a child that thinks they're a lawyer that turns into what is the objective subjective talk. And I'll get into the idea of what therapy is. And I think this is funny. Here, get a master's degree in counseling and psychology. I think I can help you. Now, I think that's a hilarious picture. Now, what's the problem here? People that go to school to get a degree in philosophy, psychology, mental health paradigms, they're in the same exact school. They're in the same exact system that is actually causing all of the problems. How the hell do they think they can fix the problems that literally everything else in that school is causing? The pharmaceutical companies, the marketing agencies, teaching somebody how to be involved and be actually a scammy liar in business. Name something in a school system, and it's all there, and it's all part of the downfall of the mind, of personal identity, of a healthy world, it's everything that's the problem. And if you think they're going to put the solution within the school, they're already part of the same paradigm. They're already part of the same system. So the only thing that a mental health professional might do, or somebody within that kind of counseling, or the only thing they're going to be doing is getting people to conform to the system that's already in place. They're not helping people be human. They're not helping people be feral. They're not helping people be aware or conscious. This gets into so many more things about different types of addiction and minds and no, this has nothing. I'm just talking to a group of people here, Katesh. Um, so, anyways, so continue on here. So these ideas of professionals that are within these systems, what they believe is that they think they have the entire spectrum understood, yet they come out of the system, and the system is the dilemma. The system is the problem. The school system is the problem. So anybody that's getting some sort of education from that, if you think that the entire education system has any if you think the education system is going to solve itself, considering that everything that in all of the education system is run by the church, which is run by the state, which is run by the pharmaceutical companies, which are run by all of these entities and dead corporations, to think that that's somehow going to help the human, it's ridiculous. It can only help to define, refine, and extract something from the human, what is actually feral and real. It actually removes the ego, which is the healthy part or portion of self-identity. And then moving on from that, there's the larger concept within the systems that whenever you get into these talks with people, there tends to be this, especially the conscious community. There's always this thing in the conscious community when somebody's talking about something that is objective, like an objective reality, that if they can't agree with it, they'll immediately go, no, it's just a subjective reality. No, this is just a dream. It doesn't really matter. Nobody has an ego. Nothing's going on. And then it's immediately like people they get into this dismissive category of saying like, oh, well, my ego doesn't matter, nothing matters, and no one should, yet I'm sitting here staring at people walking down the street struggling through their life and saying, my life matters, and that person's life matters, and that person is struggling. But to come to the point of this love and light nonsense where somebody goes, oh, well, the ego doesn't matter, I've transcended all of reality, and nothing is anything, and it's all just a dream. It's all just, but I'm sitting there watching people struggle going, wow, that seems so dismissive to people's position. So I find a lot of, it's Buckminster Fuller told you all. It's very simple. You don't fix a system from the inside. It can't be done. You create a new system and the old system becomes obsolete. So anybody that think that they can fix someone else's mind by going to the system that actually was in charge of controlling and manipulating people's minds to be part of the consumerist society, that's already one huge problem. And going on from there, I think I want to do these short so that way I can title these different, and then we can I want to do the flat earth talk today. I just want to get into real deep in the flat earth stuff, and then we'll do the other part of the 101, and then we're going to do a part on I think we'll do it on like drugs and its connection to escaping the reality and what people term as drugs and term as different things that we ingest every day. And I think that's a big part of actually what I'm talking about now. People like, oh, people do drugs, they want to escape reality. People make money because they want to escape reality. People go on vacation. People go to the restaurant because they want to escape their reality. People leave their house because they're tired of sitting in it. That's all it is. It's not escaping reality. It's just transitioning through space and time. But we'll get into that a little later. So yeah, I'll just scroll through and see what you all up to. Yeah, super fancy drug dealers, and I'll go deeper on this now. The highest level of fancy drug dealers are the information providers. Information is a drug in a sense, you know what I mean? Like some people, like there was a time I could say I was addicted to information. to a degree that like I was like, oh, I will fix this entire world by obtaining all the information and put it all in my mind, you know. And I find that very funny. You know, stepping through whatever these addictive things are, whatever this, you know, as I say, addiction, it comes from the word diction, it's language. And the first addiction we had was to language. And our real, if there is a traversing or escaping a reality, it's getting to that place where you know, of no mind, where no words are happening. And that's the place of creation. Yet, even when we get there, what do? We always project ourselves into another reality. No one sits there in nowhere land forever. They immediately broadcast their frequency back into a reality. And then another one, and then a different one. Everyone is always changing, escaping, and moving and transitioning through all sorts of different realities. But yet what we can see is there's one overarching reality here that is constructed by the church, the school, and everything else that is all kept close-knit inside of, and that people think that they can go to these institutions. And I want to be redundant on saying this because I've had this talk so many times with so many different people, because obviously I don't come from, you know, the school system per se. I mean, I went to college during high school. I went to school. It just didn't make sense to me because I was like, what are you teaching me? You're just wasting my time. I already know this. I could go read a book and get all this information. What do I need to know from this institution? And then realizing that everything within in the institution is battling itself. If you go to any school and you could sign up for these literally hundreds of different ideas of classes, and they all are in complete disposition to each other. That they don't work together. You know, in one sense, they're over here literally at a school selling pharmaceuticals, and then over here, they're trying to teach, healthcare. You know, like literally, like let's teach how to take care of let's teach psychology and how to correct the mind. Yet, if you don't see that their job is to actually make the mind more unhealthy because it's in cahoots with the companies that are selling the pharmaceuticals, there's no way the school would give you the answer in one of the classes, especially when it's owned by the church. So now you can see how the church is intimately related to the pharmaceutical companies, and anything they're teaching you only keeps you within the system. It doesn't allow you, it doesn't want you to be, I mean, this is George Carlin, this is anybody else. They don't want a bunch of thinking citizens. They don't want to, and they don't even want citizens. They want citizens at least. They don't want human beings. They don't want people that are capable of generating their own thoughts and ideas, and to actually go, no, actually the system is a little toe up from the beginning. And then finding the people that are within it that like to have this. I really want to, you know, I feel like I'm just doing this in a double take, but the concept of this objective, subjective reality that everybody plays with. As soon as they start to realize they're losing control of the mechanisms that they were sold, they just go into immediate, oh no, love and light, that's just subjective, nothing really matters. Yeah, and you know what? When people have that's like people when they get out the hood, they forget about where they came from, that kind of idea. Or when people make some money, they immediately stop caring about things the way they used to, like those kind of concepts. So when people get an education or they get a cozy desk job or whatever, like their identification with the things that are in the real world, the physical world that's going on, especially if they're spiritual, they just eliminate and they say, oh, the physical world doesn't matter. It's an illusion anyways. It's an illusion anyways. And that's not true. That's not true to 99% of people out here. 99% of people out here aren't knowing of their immortality, jumping out of body whenever they want. It doesn't work that way. Yeah, but so and Natasha, where I was going with that, the fanciest drug dealers are the peddlers of information, and especially misinformation. They give you more information than is needed, and then they give you a lot of bad information in there, and that's what the school system does. Rising love. This is exactly everything they offer as an answer takes you back to their system. This is absolutely correct. Anything within the system, the answer is always no. The system has the answer. It's never the new system. It's never outside of it. If it can't integrate with what the system already is, then it's not the right answer, because they have the answers. They have the mental health answers. They have the physical answers of here's the things you need to eat. Here's the things, and we can already tell they're lying to you about what to eat. And we can tell that they're lying to us about the things that we ingest as far as like medical pills and prescriptions and things, because those are all poisons. So at what point, where in these school systems that are actually the linchpin of all of modern society, if we get back into the early 1900s, when they started literally stealing children basically off of the, not stealing, but, taking these kids off of the farm, when this was about, the farming industry, when people were farming and they're like, oh, I don't want my kids going to school, they need to farm, and they were taking them, basically educating them in a school where, educating them to the larger system. I mean, there's a whole long talk into that, and I would just say go read John Tyler Gatto, anything that he's done. Underground History of American Education, if you want to really see the transition of what really occurred and what education really is, because it has nothing to do with education. It has to do with dumbing you down and putting certain specified values into your mind about what is good, what is bad, and where things need to go, and it's always for that system. It's never for your benefit. Yeah, school, big pharma, church, yeah, exactly. That's the three right there. The church, once the church's stronghold of magic started to dissipate into the pagan ideas, and people became their own, sources of energy, that became their own magicians and sorceresses and et cetera, then what do they need to do? Then they needed to go big pharma. Then they needed to, there was a little bit of the school and the big pharma that came around about the same time. I mean, pharmaceuticals have been around for a long time, and so have school systems. But a lot of the, first it was like, let's try to medicate these people. Okay, well, we can't medicate them. Let's take care of their mind. Let's make their mind corrupt. Because if the church couldn't do it magically, because the church was magically trying to corrupt the mind, and then they couldn't do it with the poisons. The poisons didn't work on everybody. That's the pharmakia. Then they went and they said, well, let's just indoctrinate. Let's use the same exact system that we're using in the church, but let's use it and we'll call it school. There's a reason it's called a preacher and a teacher and a class and a mass. It's the exact same system. You have 30 kids sitting in the school looking forward at the one person in front. What's a church look like? It's the same priestcraft. The teacher is the preacher of the priestcraft. They have the book with the answers in the back. What do you go to church? The church has the book with the answers in the back, and the answers in the back is God, and they talk to God for you. And you want to get through the school system, and you don't want to get bad grades and get slapped on the wrist and told you did something wrong, because you're gonna have to deal with the Father. It's the same thing. They made the schools. So to think the school doesn't have anything in the church is ridiculous. And then the outpouring of everything within the pharmaceutical industry is through the school systems. And then go find out who wrote all the books. Pia, you said, great topic. Would you agree if unbalanced, the ego can cause suffering? Absolutely. Yeah, I hear you. The root of suffering is attachment. Yeah, and the root of suffering is also the attachment to non-attachment. If you want non-attachment, you're also attached to that, are you not? So have fun in that circular game, because that's what people play. Everybody plays that. And everyone, there's the ego has been created to be imbalanced through a materialist, and again, we don't even really live in a materialist society because we disrespect material, but it's the concept of the physical society, the material. We're not materialists, but we are material driven to a degree. And how the ego fits into that is, well, we've got a misdirected ego. But then again, to live in society, you can't just be a gutter snipe. You can't just be on the streets looking like that hobo. Like, ain't nobody gonna know what you want to know. Ain't anybody gonna know what you know, because they're not gonna listen to you. You know that there's some sort of aspect of being able to articulate things properly and not look like a gutter snipe in society, to be able to help create a bigger, better place for everyone, which can't be done from the pulpit of the the guy standing in the corner with the on the soapbox, looking like a crustacean. It doesn't work that way. Yeah, the false light peddlers. That's the new age shit. Is everybody is on this? Oh, I need my kundalini. I need my kundalini and my third eye cracked open. What is all these people with their kundalini and third eye cracked open? What have they done for the world? Why haven't they fixed it? Come on, guys. You got your kundalini working. You got your third eye open. You can see everything. Well, fucking fix it then, right? Because shit, I thought that was the game too for a little bit. Okay, I can get out of body, I can do some things, and I can make some changes, I can throw some energy, I can do some things for myself and for the people around me and for the world as a whole. But the shit ain't what people think it is. And so people out here, they got followers of how many? How many people out here following these people? And what are they getting out? Oh, thank you for saying, smiling. Oh, you're such a great spirit. And what's that doing for anyone? I'm glad you got a channel with a million subscribers and everybody's like happy to, oh, we're having a good day. It's the greatest day ever. Yeah, but what about everybody that has no access to that? What about people that ain't buying that? They can't, like, they look at it and they go, man, that ain't my life. That ain't what I'm about. That's not where I'm from. I can't just change from being uneducated, working at fucking McDonald's, not going to college anyways because I could see it was a trap, but I'm still here trapped in the racket of all the shit that's going on. Like, how, go with your kundalini and your third eye, and where are those people in the hood? Where are those people in any rural town? Where are those people out here? Why don't I see them out here helping anybody? No, they're only helping the fucking middle class, yoga wearing, bullshitting ass motherfuckers, and they're only helping them financially. They ain't helping them spiritually. They're hardly awoke. And see, that's the thing, is that they're all part of the system too. I mean, who isn't part of the system, right? I mean, if we're really playing that game. But, man, oh man. Simon Jeffrey. They ran the early media systems, the theater system. There you go. I mean, the theater was the first source of propaganda in media. Well, it wasn't the first. The first was the books and the printing press. First, it was the people working for the church standing on soapboxes. Then it was and it wasn't even soapboxes, but that's funny that they used the word soap. Why is they on a soapbox? Because they're what are they doing to your mind? They're brainwashing you. That's why they're standing on a soapbox. Go chew on that one. And then they gave you the printing press. And they started peddling their false propaganda in media through that. And now we're all confused because now there are so many sources of media. We just go, man, what is there to believe? There's so much information. Oh, but Rising Love, you know what? Cigarettes are good. Tobacco is good. It just so happens that it's been so adulterated. Now, instead of going, no, the problem is all of the chemicals in the cigarette, we say the problem is tobacco. Tobacco causes cancer. No, it doesn't. That's like saying, oh, the sun is no good, it's causing cancer. No, it isn't. It's all the chemicals that you eat every day and put on your skin as sunscreen. That's why you have skin cancer. That's why you have cancer in your body. Because you're not getting enough sun because you're covering yourself up from the sun. So in between tobacco leaves and the sun, there's two big things. They go, oh, there's cancer causing right there. No, they're not. The sun is life of everything. And tobacco is very spiritual element. You know? It's just been adulterated. That's all. Man, that's tough. That's tough. At least you got a fire captain in your family. Natasha, you got the minister, the teacher, the nurse. That's great. You got the whole gambit there. I know all about that. I mean, imagine me amongst that. I can't even talk at those events. There's nothing for me to say. There's nothing to identify with. Without me even speaking, I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot to those people. But you got a fire captain, so there you go. You got plenty you can deal with there. There's somebody. There's one. If there is an actual nobility, if there's a noble profession in the world, it's a firefighter, because there's absolutely nothing they won't do, and they do it completely blind, with complete just. I'm going to go. I'm going to go fix this. I'm going to save something. I'm going, and it's not even about the savior complex, because I don't get into all that. I don't get into heroes. I don't get into saviors. But if there is something that says, oh, that's how all people should act anyways, you know what I mean? And the reason they take that job is because they would do that anyways. And I've met plenty of firemen. They tend to be really good people. Any other job, not so much. But they've been trained not to be. They've been trained they need more money, not happiness and health and friends and. Educari, good word. Educari leads us out from truth. There we go. Rise not, care about all souls. Here, remember, we're all spirits. No one has a soul. You know? Remember that. Think about that. A soul means singular. We're all part of the soul. We're all part in pieces. Kind of like we're all part of the body. Like we're like cells in a body. We're all cells in the body, and the body being the soul. We're all spirits. If we were all soul right now, we would be like, we'd be all like floating around in the astral realm, like on like just DMT floating through that, just like whoa. Yeah, Pia, that's awesome. See, I mean, as much as power as you have, I mean, when I say these things, I'm not against cracking your third eye open. I'm not against the Kundalini. This is all good stuff, but it's like it's not fixing the world. It's doing some good things, but it's not the answer for everyone. It's not the answer for society at large. For most people, they're not, they're 99, the 99% people, they're a million miles away from even knowing what the word Kundalini means. And even someone like me, I've never had a full-blown Kundalini experience, but I have had enough empathetic, rising vibes of the energy running up through my system and down my system, and having long-term, maybe I did and I just didn't know what to call it, but I have it so frequently that I'm so overwhelmed with energy and emotion that, I just don't know what to call it. But nonetheless, the point is, most people out here, they got no idea. They're a billion miles away from that. They should be worried about drinking clean water, literally. There ain't nobody. Half the people let's be honest. 95% of people are out here drinking dirty water, and even people that think they're drinking clean water are drinking poisonous water. Everybody out here in this alkaline water nonsense. People out here on this. Oh, I need to have this spring water that actually has these minerals at it. They're poisoning themselves. And then I'm out here like, no, let's make this shit simple. And nobody's even near it. Nobody's even near the simplicity of, and it's hard to live simple in a city, right? It's easy out in the mountains to do it, but they ain't on the computer preaching the way of the mountains. Yeah, the guilty thing, rising love. That's the number one thing. Remember, the whole system is built on guilt, subjugation, and powerlessness. And that's the whole thing. Guilt, powerlessness, and subjugation. It's somehow you were the sinner. No matter what system you look at, if you look at it from the scientific model, they told you came in this world broken, that you weren't put together correctly. They immediately cut up your genitals. They immediately start dicking around with saying your immune system ain't working. They start sticking needles in you. They start cutting things out of you later in life. Nah, you're broken. We can fix you though. But if you're religious, they tell you immediately you're a sinner, and everybody's a sinner in the mind of God, and blah blah blah. Yeah, okay, right. Like, okay, if that's the system, then what kind of insane maniac would have built a system where everybody was immediately a sinner? What a lunatic. There you go, Natasha. Your brother is truly a Superman. I bet it, man. I all the people I met in my life that have been firemen, bar none, most level-headed, cool, like generous, genuine people. I mean, yeah, you got half of them that are just, the big rockheads, but they're lovely. You know what I mean? I'll run in that building. But then you got the other The other, you got the dum dums out and thinking they're fixing the world through being in all of the other institutions that require badges and things. I mean, everybody got a badge now. You know what I mean? Everybody acting out a part with their badge on. You go to hospital, they got their badges on. You go to school, they got their badge on. You go to even normal corporations, they got to put their little tag on to make sure that people know they work there. Natasha, do we edify each other here? Is that a word for what this kin that join with you here? Rephrase that a little, Natasha. I can't decode it quite. You said, we edify each other here. A word for kin. I mean, the kin is the kindling, right? The kin is the king. But the kin forgot about the kin. But the kindling is the fire you start. Which is what is called ink. This is why people get ink. I-N-K. You should do it from kin. Your kin give you ink. It's all about coloring and adding the Technicolor Dream coat to your skin, because your skin, S-K-I-N, is your kin, your skins, inks. I did a whole show on that. Oh, Pia, like, I would assume then I've probably had enough of it then, because, yeah, it's pretty intense. it's pretty intense. I mean, even, just the amount of energy fluxing through you and like, oh my, what the, like emotions and empathy and vibes and like, man, and that feeling like, what if this doesn't go away? How will I be able to walk around? I've had that happen so many times. Sometimes I'll be in public and I'll be like, I have to go home right now because I'm going to fucking lose my mind. Like, because of the overwhelming amount of empathy and energy that I feel from other people, that I have to be like, well, I'm going to go ahead and, I feel like those kids that put the sunglasses on and the headphones on when they get all super autistic. And I think it's this funny thing. I just could be sitting there and look at somebody and like feel their entire life and go, gonna have to get off this streetcar here. I can't be in this contained metal box environment where all of the people's energies are radiating into the only open source of of energetic. That's funny. All right, Pia. A cure for wellness. It sounds very familiar. Edify, I think, is the correct word there. Yeah. Yeah. There was something else I wanted to put on this in front of the camera here, but I'm liking my little my ukulele dude. Yeah, so I'll dig in here a little bit more with whatever you guys want to chat about on this, and then I'm probably just gonna turn this off and then start another one right up and do do the 101 that I wanted to do on the salts and things, and do that other one, the flat Earth talk. Just let's get to it about flat Earth. You got which one should I do first? Oh, there we go. Finally, all of that last week that I had that little head cold, it's finally coming out my skull. So much more balanced now. My ego's more balanced. Yeah, the Tiki guy. He's super fresh. Let's see who Tiki guy is. Let's see what kind of day I'm gonna have. I didn't even the cards worked out for me yesterday. I had a good day yesterday. Let's see what little Tiki guy. We'll throw some of his energetics into this day and see what's going on. Well, thanks. These are all just off the cuff, but I was playing with it in the beginning. I was like, look at this. It just worked out where I've got this wonderful leading line. If you're into photography, I've got a leading line down to this wonderful little crystal here.
I've got the colors that are working. I got a little bit of background noise. I've got the focus of attention. Yeah, I got it. Funny, I did take a little bit of the only class I probably really went to when I was in college. One of the colleges I went to was my photography class. And that's about the only one that I went to because it's the only one that I had anything to learn out of. The creative writing and the business courses, I was like, I'm out of here. I'm out of here, buddy. Yeah, I'm happy. Hey, Rising Love, I'm happy to check that movie out and do a chat on it. I'm happy to. We can do like instead of like doing book chats, we could do movie chats. If anybody wants to get on it, like and give me a list of movies or cool things, I can do like we could do like a weekly or every other day, whatever. Check out a movie or I think movies are easier than books, really. We can chat about the movies. That might be cool. Yeah, you think that's cool? Cool. So, whoever doesn't have my email, I'll start putting that on my videos. I'm gonna go ahead and go back through, and I've already put the PayPal's and the everything else on there. So, if anybody wants to throw the currency at me, feel free. That's awesome. But I'll put my email on there, and people can hit me up with how you want to. We can schedule this out a little bit. And here we go. Let's see what my dude has to say about my day. There we go. Oneness. There you go. Oneness upside down. Very funny. The oneness upside down. And then my favorite, the tower. I love when I get the tower out of this guy, because it's funny to me because in this deck the tower is not as absurd as it is in the rest of the tarots. It's not as it's not people jumping out of the building. It's Saint Simeon the Stylite, and it really just has to do with refusal of traditions and challenging unknown things. And so he's basically just like throwing some clay pots off the side. And in fact, they're on ropes anyways. He's just like, fuck all this shit. That's what he's doing. Most of the time, it's people like, jumping out of a building, right? And so I enjoy this card. It comes up a lot for me. It's just basically saying and it's funny because this whole talk has been about what? Traditional influence of mind, of technology, of the way that people perceive things because of school systems, and me just going, nah, that's not how it works, right? And this was oneness upside down, and I usually use this as a physicality, so a physical card. So interesting. The idea of oneness inverted. The solution would be to right side the oneness, which is funny because this had to do with ego and the balance of ego to what people consider oneness, or what people consider we're all one thing, which is, yeah, we all get that, but we're all having our individualized experience here. And when we first accept that we're all one thing, then that respect for everybody else's experience is better, but it doesn't make us all one thing. We still have our individualized experience. That's what needs to be understood. When people get on this Fruit Loop garbage where they're just like, we're all one, love and light. No. That person over there isn't actually about the love and light. That person just went through some shit. They don't make that much money. Their mother's a crackhead. They're just getting out of a tumultuous relationship, etc., etc. Your love and light is not gonna fix that right now. You're actually gonna cause more harm than good. They don't know about oneness. You can't just go up there, knocking on doors. That's the same thing. That's what the New Age agenda is. Basically, the religious knocking on my door trying to sell me Jesus. I'm like, nah, I'm sorry. Jesus is already inside of me. The other day this happened. This woman knocks on my door. This older woman knocks on my door trying to sell me Jesus. Do you know Jesus? Yeah, he's inside of me. Then she's confused. She thinks I'm kind of saying something. What do they always say whenever you're saying something against God? And then she goes, well, do you go to church? Do you have a church? I was like, yeah, my body is my temple. I was like, I'm in church right now. What are you talking about? And she's just like, how dare you? Yeah, and she was she didn't say that, but she was just so confused, huh? But he thinks he's Jesus in his own temple. Does he really believe that? Yeah. So the oneness, anyways, that's the fun thing. I think that's exactly the talk we had. The refusal of tradition of thinking that everything is oneness. I like it. A heretic, yeah, a heretic. And when somebody says something against the Jesus, they call them a blasphemer. A blasphemer. There we go. She thought I was blaspheming. I was like, I said nothing to blaspheme Jesus. Like, what? You don't think I'm a good person? Oh, I gotta come to your church and give you some money and tell you about all the bad things about me and the world and everything else. And then she had the audacity to say she'll pray for me and so will Jesus. I was like, whoa. I was like, slow down with that, honey. Don't pray on a warlock, because I will cut you. You gonna go make up your face, Natasha? I'll start sending. You know what, Natasha? Let me know. I'll start making you some. For real, if you want, let me know. I'll start making you some makeup for your face, like real deal good stuff. I already got the stuff here. I got all the good things. I never shown you all my alchemy cupboards. Torin, maybe I could make an autobiography. That would be a fun one. Yeah. I would have to have somebody would have to. I couldn't write it. I've tried to do it before. It starts to get too insane. Like, it just becomes too much to write. Between what I need to say, what I want to say. Like, if I had somebody writing it for me, if I could just dictate it, like if one of you want to listen to all my talks, everything I said, and start writing it out, shit, have at it. Let me know. You know? If you're happy to write it, I'm happy to share it. You know, it's all there anyways. But as far as me writing it, man, I can't type fast enough, and if I'm writing on paper, it's scribbled too much. Like, I'm pretty fast typer, but yeah, I can't read my own writing if I'm scribbling. I have too much to say. Yeah. Rising Love, what are you saying? What are you saying? You were just gonna say what? What's decode? Autocorrect. Positive vibes. What do I think? Biokinesis? I don't know the name. I don't know the word off the top of my head. I'm assuming it's biological telepathy of some sort. I'll just look it up right now because I got my other computer here. Biokinesis. What do I think about it? Techniques to change your eye color using the mind. Is it always to change your yeah, this is biokinesis. Yeah, this is what I speak about all the time. I never used that word for it. Yes, everything I talk about is biokinesis. You can change every aspect of yourself. It just depends on how much focus you have and how long you got. And long is relative, right? Yeah, all these things. You can change your eye color through diet, through focus. You can change a lot of things about yourself through diet, focus, meditation. I mean, I've seen people like, you know, people change their glow. They change their aura, right? And then some people like facially, their structure of their face changed over a period of time. Like, how did that happen? You look slightly different. And it's not just people losing or gaining fat. So, yeah, everything I talk about is biokinesis. No, that's a word I get to use. Thanks. Is it good? Of course it's good. You know, having control over your DNA. Yeah. Rise Now, you got okay. Well, Rise Now, hit me on this. Doesn't, as I'm reading these things, this doesn't show up when I post this. So you need just hit me up on one of my other videos and tell me what your channel is, or give me one of your videos, or I'll just click on your face. Just remind me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Rising Love. When people say they're gonna pray, Prey, pray for you. Yeah, and I don't want to do that, man. I say keep your magic away from me. You don't even know you're doing magic. Don't pray for me. I don't want your demigod around me. Like, if I invite that person or that energy into my life, so be it. But don't try to throw it at me. You know, that's one day somebody sat down with. I had my. I'll show you. Check it out. I had my dude with me, my little my little Shade. That's my dude Shade, right? I mean, I named him a couple different things, but I'll just tell you his name is Shade. And I'm walking around New Orleans, and this woman, she like passed me by, and she was so like drawn to come talk to me that after she passed me, she turned around and came back and then tried to sell me Jesus. The first thing she said to me, "Are you a warlock?" And I just started laughing. I was like, really? What up, Gary? Nice to see a separate head of yours. And so I had to be like, am I a warlock? No, but do I need to be? You know? And then the end of it, you know, I didn't realize what she was doing first. I thought she was just interested in magic. And then she, you know, obviously started selling me Jesus. And then I kind of was like, okay. And she wanted me to come to her church. And then she said she'll pray for me. And I was like, don't do that. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, that people that want to pray for you. Gotta watch out for those people. Gary, you see, even Gary knew the tarot, the tower card. I love the tower card, Gary. That makes my day. What up, B Frank? Hey, you slept in, man. How's it going? You feeling a little better? Sleeping in a 3? Yeah, we're gonna rise in love. We're gonna work on this in the future. Try to find a really good home so that I can kind of moderate this thing and be able to bring people up on the screen and whatever. But I want to make it. It's got to be something easier than having everybody's emails and saying, you know, come through. I want to make it like it's got to be as easy as YouTube. And a couple of other things I looked at, it seemed like a little more work than it was worth. But I'll you know, if anybody got any more ideas, I mean, Katesh told me of a place. I forget what the name of it is right now, but I'll see. Maybe I'll try that out and see if that works. But it seemed like I had to send everybody an email to let them know I'm going to do a show. So it seemed kind of counterintuitive, like there's just more work going into it. Where right now you're all getting as soon as I hit a button and say I'm live, you all know it. So unless the other things are going to do that, it's just too much. Like for me, I just like the open source and the easy of just pushing a button and people can show up. You know. Yeah, Gary, they are unknowingly. Isn't that the funny part? But you know what? I've learned to kind of flip it around a little bit, where, you know, you can take any energy and invert it. So when people do that now, I kind of just smile a little more. I'm just like, okay. I was like, but you better know what you're doing with the magic, because magic can equally be flipped around. So I'll give you your prayer right back. It don't even touch me. I'm just gonna flip it around before it gets here. Thank you, but I have my own arcanic powers. Katesh, are you talking to me? You invited me to where? What are you talking about? When did I assault you? When did I assault you, Katesh? Was that for me? I don't remember doing that, did I? B Frank, you got the tower. What, are you playing with cards today, Frank? B Frank, you got the tower card today too? Yeah, I liked it. It's exactly my day. Oh, okay, Katesh, so I can link that. See, I'm not computer literate, dude. So the you now, I can link it to, so I can link that straight into there. Okay, well then I'll do that later today or tomorrow. Let me play around with it. But I didn't see how to do that to begin with, because I'm just a bumbling, stumbling idiot when it comes to computers. I'm way too old for this. I don't know how this shit works. My eyes are no good. My fingers are too fat. Okay. I mean, you live stream from you now, but say on YouTube that people can talk to you there. You say that again, Katesh. Are you saying like on you now? Just say yes if this is correct. On you now, I can just link it to YouTube where it will go to everyone and they can just jump on. They'll know the same way. Or should I do like a YouTube here? You're saying and say, hey guys, I'm gonna do a you now in 15 minutes. Come through. Is that what you're saying? Or the first one? Yeah, be frank, the tower pops up a lot. Steven, I think, it's kind of, okay, cool. Then Kitesh, I'll start doing that. I didn't realize. I didn't know how to do it. And Steven, a prayer, the word is pray. And when you say it, it's subconsciously, unconsciously hijacked already in your mind to be a pray. Like to pray, you're praying upon yourself, And so you would just change that to getting to the actual language. Like there's a reason they changed the word to pray. To pray within religion. When you go to church, you pray. But when you're a warlock or a priestcraft or a magician or a sorcerer, you would never say the word pray. It would never come out of your mouth because you would know the power of that word. That it has to do with like stalking something and eating it or devouring it, and it wouldn't be part of your language or your concept. But when it came to the church, even though they're using the same conditions and philosophies as what happens at a ceremonial magical gathering, they just changed the word, and it changes the whole connotation, the whole subconscious directive. It gets into the why you wake up in the morning, that kind of concept. It makes you immediately tired. It makes you immediately participate in death. You wake up in the morning, and it's minute. There's minutes and seconds, not firsts, and and you're dealing with Horuses, hours or Horuses, and then you're dealing with weeks because it's so weakening. And you've got job, which is not job is not a good word, right? And so all of these things start to even though in your conscious mind you're not paying attention, the subconscious mind knows the structure of the sound and what's being said. It actually weakens you. So you'd say great rising. This is why a lot of people say great rising, and that's a good idea. It changes things. And it also, for people that aren't initiated, they go, what? Great rising? Oh yeah, that's weird. That's cool. Okay, I can dig that. Great rising. That's a lot of power for someone to say. If you just said that to somebody in the street, they'd be like, what did you just say? What the hell? They'd be flipped out. They'd be like, what? And then you just increase their power because now they're conscious. And once they become conscious, then you can increase power in someone. Once they're aware, if you just walk by somebody, good morning, good morning, good morning. You say, great rising. They're like, what? They're focused. And you can see the funny thing, I'm going to go a little deeper into the magical realms, but you can increase power in someone by doing the opposite. You can get someone's attention by saying something in the negative direction. But we don't like to do that. That's not a good idea. Because you can do it to certain people. It's like you can get your friend's attention by saying something funny to them, right? It's like guys always see each other and they'll make an insult. The guy will be like, oh, and they'll turn around. Oh, there's my buddy. But it's just a matter of directing attention and focus. So hopefully that was a nice little lesson into magic. So yeah, the prayer, just change the word, Stephen. Just change the word from prayer to come up with a new one, or find what the magicians use. Oh, it streams through YouTube. Okay, Kitesh, that makes it way easier. I didn't realize all this. Don't speak to others unless forced to. Yeah, good morrow. Good morrow is good. And the best thing about saying good morrow is, as the masters know, tomorrow never comes, It's always now, huh? Yeah, great risings. It's one that I do enjoy. I'm going to shuffle the faces off of these things. As I sit here and talk to all of you, just shuffle the cards for 20 minutes. It's like a background running operating system, unconscious. In fact, like doing this is kind of like the beads. You know why people use those prayer beads? And see, they're not even prayer beads. There we go. Ice cream man, y'all. The mala beads, which turned into prayer beads. Well, first it was the reason they put it in their left hand, and they would dip through them. They would count out 108 beads, or possibly 54 in the mala beads, the prayer beads, is to keep the masculine, to keep the mind focused, and to go through a cycle of numbers, which will put it into a meditation, a methodic meditation. That's the use of those things. But then there is this problem that it becomes too much of a reliance. You know. So it's good for a little bit, but don't get too attached to the crutches. I would love to pull a card for you, Katesh. Get you a push-up pop. You like them orange ones, Gary? I would have got you one, man. And biokinesis be the same. Didn't you ask me about changling? I'm gonna have to look the word up now, but I don't know. Katesh, you want you just want me to pull the card? Which one? This one or this one? I'm gonna bury that first one anyways. You want the blue one or the red one, or one of each? Or should I say the red card will be the red card is more of your card for you throw your energy into it, and I'll throw energy into the blue one. See what we get. I'll see what you say. See how far we're lagged behind here. You pick because they're being cagey and I'm judging it. Okay, I'll pick. There it is. There it is. You tell me to do it. The resurrection of Lazarus. I dipped into sexology last night for a second, man, but I was so tired, John. There you go, Katesh. The magician. The resurrection of Lazarus. The first card of the tarot after the Fool, of course. Yeah? Here, we'll see what the pagans had to say. It's the same cards, Katesh. You see? You see? Same card. Yeah, that's good stuff, huh? I did find it. I just didn't. I was so tired last night. I basically just I do the Osho method of burning out my mind before I go to bed. Well, his is burn out the body first, but I try burning out my mind to see what happens. Yeah, yeah, of course it is. Rising Love, you've been here long enough to know whenever I'm pulling cards, it's going to be exact. It always makes me wonder about what's the card beneath. Which card did we bury? Which is funny. I'm gonna look, but I'm not gonna tell anybody because I overstand the deck. Oh, look at that! Y'all seen? Look at that! I guess they wanted you to see. I guess the pagans wanted you to see. Yeah. A nice positive vibration. That's cool. I'm gonna get on that. I gotta get on that the John Shore methodology. Like, I've played with it a little bit, getting a little bit of the tantra and things like that, but it always helps. Time of day matters too, Like in the AM, sex is obviously way different than in the PM, It's it's a whole different experience. And, it's like afternoon delight versus evening versus daytime during the morning. And those are three wildly different experiences. we'll do that. We'll do the. So I got a whole list of shows now, like 100 of them that I've written down that I just haven't even. I haven't even go back into my messy handwriting to see what they are, and then the 3 that I want to do, and then we'll do the show on the Tao and sexuality and sex and all of that. But I definitely want to do this flat Earth one soon. Maybe today. I don't know why. I just felt like revisiting it because I haven't talked about it in a very long time. Oh, you lost it. Try the PM. Oh, you know what? I was just talking about just sex in general, but yeah, you know the whole even, you know, you got to think about it, man. Your mindset is changing throughout the day, and motivation's changing, energy's changing. What organs are actually functioning in your body? So, you know, there's going to be different things going on at different hours, obviously. Yeah, give me 1 second, yo. Let me go. I gotta go grab some water. Get watery today. Okay. No FAP is better than holding. Positive vibrations. I don't know. I think there's a good thing to both of them, you know? I think again it always comes down to the person. If you know the no FAP idea versus semen retention, you know that's what's your purpose, what's your goal? You know, are you trying to throw energy up your spine? Are you trying to integrate with the opposite sex? Are you trying to have that circular tantric experience with another being? Do you just want more energy for the day? Do you want to dream? I mean, there's so many different things that go into that. But certainly, you know, no FAP doesn't mean you're not getting a hard on. And no FAP can end in a really weird way when, you know, 3 weeks in, you're having a dream and all of a sudden you wake up and there's semen everywhere. You know what I mean? And no FAP is never a good idea for a woman. I've gotten to that plenty of times. Women should be having more orgasms and men should be having less. That's just how it works. What up, DJ? And what did Zet say? How to obtain a 12-inch dick? Well, I think if you just you know, you get online, you could probably order one of those. You probably find yourself a dude with a 12-inch dick. I mean, they're few and far between, but I'm sure you can find one. Johnny K, was that you said orgas? I didn't understand. Is that to something I said? Oh, orgasms and dreams. Yeah. Yeah. Women should definitely be masturbating more often because it's an internal, like the microcosmic orbit. If you get into, say, Montauk Chia's work, and there's just the general idea of the Tao, the sexual Tao, and these practices. The feminine is the magnet, and the internal energy that's built up in a woman. Like when a woman has an orgasm, she tends to have more energy. So she's actually building up energetic charge by having an orgasm because it's implosive. Where a man, when he has an orgasm, is explosive. So he's getting rid of energy. He's sharing. He's pushing the energy into something else. The seed is. It's like, think of if you put a seed in the earth. The seed is no longer in the apple. It's in the earth, which is the mother, and the mother creates out of that. The mother is the creative vortex. So if she's, you know, in the sense of orgasming, that's the ultimate form of joy in creation. So the idea of women experiencing pleasure more and men holding the semen, because the goal, you know, when a man ejaculates, he wants to go to sleep. When a woman ejaculates, she wants to go and run a marathon. So there's some heavy baggage that a man is unloading, where the idea is to keep, get to near that peak point, right? I mean, John will tell you about this. Get near the peak point, but don't let it go. And when you get really good at it, you'll actually be able to orgasm inside of your body, which I've only occasionally been able to done. That's really, you gotta learn how all the valves work down there. Positive vibrations. That maybe listening to subliminals can help get him a 12-inch penis. Zet, you'll find a 12-inch penis. Zet, you'll find a 12-inch penis. Is anybody else hearing that? That was just for Zet. It wasn't. That was just subliminal for him, not for anybody else. He didn't even hear that. That's ridiculous. Silly. Yeah, thank you. Positive vibrations. I do work for LMAOs, LOLs, and emojis, emoticons. Those are good. That's what I work for. And also, thumbs ups are really great, guys. It really gets it out there that you guys like me and that other people should like me too. So all you got to do is push the button where it says thumbs up. I see there's 15 people in here and I only got 7. What are the other half of you doing? Do you not like what I'm saying? Do you not like being here? I mean, it's just one click away. It's kind of like using a turn signal, you know what I mean? People that aren't giving me a thumbs up are people that don't use turn signals, and you people are assholes that don't use turn signals. We can all agree on that. You know how easy it is to use a turn signal? Just hit up or down on the little switch there. So then you let everybody know what's going on. It's good sales, wasn't it? That was a good sales pitch. Steven, is there a need for men to masturbate? Yeah. But just... yeah, how often you should actually be ejaculating, though, it should be way less. Yeah, exactly. Steven, you're already there. If the body says do it, do it. If it doesn't, don't. Like, more sex, less ejaculation, right? More masturbation, less ejaculation. I think that should be the mantra. There we go. Anybody want to join the club? I'm going to start the mantra. I did this yesterday. We're doing the magnetic universe theory, and our mantra is more masturbation, less ejaculation. Anybody? That sounds good, right? Go ahead. You can register, trademark that shit. Just when I see that out really in public making some cash, I'm gonna come find you. You better share. Yeah, that book is free. Just look it up with PDF after, and it'll pop right up. And then if you're really into it, man, there's a free piece of software called @Voice. It's the symbol, @Voice, and you can just cut and paste or download that book right into that, and it will read it for you. And it's already got a bunch of different voices on it, and it's pretty smooth. And you can change the tone, you can change the pitch, and you can change the speed of the voice. So check that out. Is there a need for liquid oils? Yeah, I think oils are very important. It's the concept of soil to oil, which produces all of that. Like, I mean, just think about like how rub oil on your skin. Doesn't that feel nice? So yeah, I think there's not only from the level of like, because here again, everything starts with this. How is your experience? How do you feel? If you got a day to live, what would you rather be doing? I'd rather be covered in oil and in my mansion with 100 concubines covered in oil. Like, that's, you just be honest. That would be how anybody would choose to be living their last few moments. So, in that concept of what is the highest good, what is that? What is the condition of comfort, and how do you make your body feel good? How do you make your mind feel good? You get an oil massage. You feel better afterwards. You feel incredible, right? So yeah, whether it's externally or internally, there seems to be a great purpose for oil, because oil is essentially the essence. If we say the chrism or the anointed oil, whether we're talking about the chrism rising up the spine and the idea of kundalini, or the idea of, you know, that juice, that oil that Santos talks about, or it's just anointing the feet, or the oil on the body, or inside of nutrition, it's of the highest magnitude. It's of the highest order. It's the alchemized version of the seed, right? It takes a process to get the oil out, but when you do, like, there it is. So, yeah, hopefully that helps. Rising love. I always say nobody knows me like me. You know, that's very funny. As much as the self-masturbatory practices and how much I enjoy myself, even bad sex is pretty decent. I mean, you know, to a degree, but yeah, the interaction of the equal opposite is much more engaging. Looking into someone's soul is always fun, or their spirit, I should say. Positive vibrations. When will I be making videos for real-time learning? Are these not real-time learnings? What do you mean? Like, how do you mean that? What do you Yeah, bad. You know, I'm at a point where bad sex is bad sex, and I don't want any part of it. Like, I got a couple people, a couple people, a couple you know, reoccurring ghosts of my past that were not really good sex, that I was like, nah, it ain't really worth it. I ain't got time or energy to be wasting on that. If it's not mind blowing, or at least incredibly passionate, I don't want any part of it. It's like my art. It's like me talking. It's like anything I do in my life. I ain't got time to be wasting that on you or on me. Is olive oil the best lube? Probably not. Olive oil, like, best lube for just self? You know, the problem with olive oil, as I've just stated before, you should all do a research on this. It's a quick look. Somebody do a quick Google search on it. Somebody wrote a great book on olive oil, and there's a list to it that he breaks down what olive oil actually has real olive oil in it, virgin olive oil. Because a lot of it gets into the mafia and the underground. Literally, this is a big business. I mean, think of who doesn't have olive oil at their house, right? This is big business. This is like underground mafia stuff, with their cutting olive oil with a bunch of different oils and passing it off as organic extra virgin olive oil when it's actually not. So, and there's a list to it. You should check that out. And the best oil for lubrication seems to be almond. I would say almond. Anybody else have any suggestions on oils? You look into Ayurveda and what they use for not only enemas but for massage. They're probably going to be right in line with what you want. And it's and going a little further, depending on the oil, if you wanted your brain to work better, you would use walnut and almond. They're both brain food. And massaging it through your skin is going to increase your brain. Like, it's going to clean your brain. It's better than actually ingesting it, so it doesn't have to go through the acidic environment of the stomach. You're just going to be ingesting it through the skin. Oh, positive vibrations. Reading a book and memorizing every bit of it. Yeah, that's going to be real long stuff. I can do that. I'm happy to do that, but that's going to be a lot of long lessons. And that really gets into a lot of what I'm doing here too, with obviously in a lot of my videos I talk in a non-linear way, but somehow it manages to find its way back to a linear process for people to kind of deprogram. And a lot of what I'm doing is the groundwork, as it were, for reprogramming people's minds. And not even reprogramming, just deprogramming, so that way you can comprehend how to use your mind yourself. You can program your own system in your own computer. And so those learning paradigms and memorization paradigms come out of erasing the concepts that you have of rote learning and of learning through, because rote learning is chant learning. It's what you've been taught your entire life. And getting rid of that is hard. I'm not even that great at it because I tend to fall back into the rote learning methodologies. So yeah, we'll definitely do that. I've done some videos on that earlier. I don't know if you watched them. It's funny enough, I watched one of them last night a little bit. I think I did 3 of them in a row to kind of break down the concepts and ideas of how learning is done and how memory works. Yeah, coconut oil seems to be awesome. But I think the problem with coconut oil on the skin, for the most part, is because it's higher in saturated fat, it has a harder time getting in through the pores of the skin. So you wouldn't use coconut oil on a regular basis. You would use coconut oil in the sun, though, because the sun is going to heat you up and open up the pores of your body to let the olive or the coconut oil in with those extra saturated fats. And it's also going to lubricate the skin and keep the skin healthy. But in a colder climate, and it's funny, this conversation just came up with a friend of mine saying her skin is healthier now that she uses less coconut oil on her skin, because she seems to have been clogging up a lot of her pores because she doesn't get out and sweat a lot. But if you were to get out and sweat a lot, I mean, think about where coconuts are. Where are coconuts? What kind of climates do they grow in? Hot ones. You're not finding coconut trees in the Northeast. So if you were in the Northeast trying to use coconut oil, it wouldn't make a lot of sense, would it? So hopefully that makes sense. Is that Chrono? You're gonna just have to get on that taking a rope and tying up your junk, your dingy dang, your Willy Wonka, tying that up and holding weights from it and doing kegels. Get on that crazy Indian stuff. Them Indian yogis be doing some weird things to their genitals. Get on that stuff, man. That might be the move for you. And then you could just get back into that biokinesis too. That might help. Nagababas. Is that what I was just talking about? The snake. The Nagababas. I didn't know that. Makes sense. Yeah, and Zet on that Katesh is right with that. You know, you got to think of it. Yeah, the Saints, they're all naked to walk around. This is right. You got to think about it in the sense of like an auric field. You know, there's a lot of people that are small that walk into a room that their auric field it envelops an entire room. I can tell you that if me and Ami walk into a room, the whole room changes immediately. Especially if we're all like shined up and go out on like, you know, it changes everything. And so in the same way, if you have an auric field, you can have you have an auric field or an energetic field around your hand, and that's how you heal, and you have an energetic field around your genitals. So whether you're working with, next to nothing, or somebody could have a big dick and have little energetic charge, and it would be terrible. But you could have a smaller member, but have a giant energetic field off of that, and that changes everything. So I hope that makes sense, man. Just focus maybe not on the mass of something, just like the mass of your being doesn't matter, but the energy in it. Something small can throw out a lot of energy, and it's all about throwing. Yeah, love. It's about throwing energy. It's the focus, If you're focused on the sexual union throughout your entire body, like when you're involved with someone, like if you throw the energy when you're touching someone into your hands, when you're looking at them into your eyeballs, and when you're like penetrating them into that area, it changes everything about the value of the union, because the union is spiritual, meaning electrical, meaning that sexual, spiritual electrical energy is, you can where focus, where focus goes, where attention goes, that's where energy is going to go to. And it really is electrical charge, and it's all about putting that electrical charge there without getting to that precipice where you unload the whole thing. Zach Chrono still pissed about not sucking on the boobies. I told you, we'll find it. Zach, you gotta just, throw it. Make yourself a sigil, my friend. Make yourself a sigil. And if you don't know how to do that, look into the video that I made about sigils. I made a few of them. Make yourself a sigil about finding a woman that will give you some breast milk. You know what I mean? Whether you come in contact with a woman that's pregnant, or like. There's lots of women out there that are pregnant that the baby daddy ain't there, you know what I mean? Or even like right after that she's willing, what do you know about chicks that got kids? They willing to fuck. You could get yourself some breast milk just about anywhere. So maybe make yourself a sigil for that, man. And I'm gonna start. They always got these the ratings, like this next video is gonna be rated R for restricted. We're gonna rate these all Z. Rated Z for. We already passed all the letters. We're at the end. It don't even matter what we're talking about here. Sees that? Maybe it come into fruition. If it does, as I always say, whenever I teach people something, I don't need nothing from you right now. But in the future, if you could bless me, so you could bless me with some blessed milk, some breast milk, or some hey. Send me a care package of some breast milk, or just send me the woman with the breast attached. I'll take that too. Yeah, the mushrooms are helpful for thyroids for sure. And I don't know what that was specifically referencing. Positive vibrations. You said mushrooms look like a dick. Eating mushrooms can help. Can help. What were you saying exactly? The thyroid is connected to the mushrooms, but I do have my suspicions about mushrooms. Yeah, Zach Chrono he needs the boobies. He needs the boobies in his life. I went through my breast phase. My breast phase. Now it's a much more ass kind of man. If that is a thing. No, I'm actually more of an eye kind of person. I'd rather look into somebody's eyes. But the ass is helpful. If any of you guys like salads, are you saying salads? Try adding dates or apple pieces in it. Garlic powder, paprika on the avocado, make our own. Oh, yeah. Okay, Johnny, hypo? not hyper, right? You have hypo, which means overact, or you have underactive. Hypo is underactive thyroidism. Hyper is overactive thyroidism. So what you're going to want to add is a lot of mushrooms to balance that out. Now, I know that I have a hard time with digesting of mushrooms, and I don't get a lot of benefit out of that. I probably do have thyroid issues to a degree. This is certain. You can get into massaging your underactive thyroids. Get into massaging them. Look up, anything in the body can be stimulated physically or chemically through the food we eat, or through something like going, go to find yourself a good acupuncturist, and just tell them you got hypothyroidism, and they'll, you probably have to go there 3 times. If they're good, they should be able to, hook you up in 3 times. But just get into massaging of it and moving lymph around the body, and then mushrooms are good to instill energy into it. So nobody else lost the stream. It was just electric towel, everybody? Nobody else lost this? Kelp powder. Interesting that you say that, Rising Love. I didn't know that. I have a bunch of kelp powder, and I just use it for doing like baths and facials. And so I'll take some kelp powder, mix it with some turmeric and some charcoal. Now, I might be doing a disservice with adding the charcoal, because it's kind of more of a drawing out substance, where the kelp might be adding minerals. So I might have to just switch those up. But yeah, of course, Johnny K. Just get at the massage. That should be the first thing to do, and then get into even at home looking up a chart. You know what? Here, I could just hook you up with my chart and show you right now if you want to see. While we're here, we'll do this real time. How's that? Let me hook you up. Boom. Here we go. Let's check it out. Hyperthyroidism isn't going to come up very good. It's probably not going to show up well for you. Yeah, this is probably not going to show up too well on there. Yeah, and I'd have to explain a lot to you, but basically you'd be following the meridians. So just look up an acupuncture chart, and it's acupuncture, to be a very like a professional at it, takes a lot of work. But just doing little acupuncture or acupressure things, meaning you're just using your fingers to stimulate certain points, you should be able to figure it out. You'll find the major meridian points. Just look for the major things that are kind of linkages, the major red points that you'll see, and you just stimulate that with your fingers. Fibroids, an artery embolization 5 years ago. Fibroids, like those are like those little balls of garbage that kind of come into the body. Is that what I'm thinking it is? I'm gonna look it up right now. I'm thinking you're just using a different word for the same thing that I already know about, but. And where exactly? Like just all of your body, or in your menstruate? Okay, menstruals. Yeah, I would assume, without doing any research. And I'll try to get back to you on this, but get into things that are good for, like avocados and fats and oils, probably. And another one would, beet juice. There you go. Trashed up the uterus. It's okay. The uterus is connected to all, seeds and nuts and oils seem to be, right off the top of my head, but yeah. You have them in specific spots. I used to have them before I would do a water fast. I got little bits and pieces of garbage over my body, but they'll go away when I do a water fast and I change up my mental exercises. But specifically, that's some deep emotional shit, obviously. And you can check out the movie Emotion. That might help you. And then I'll definitely chat with you deeper on it another time. I'll just do a little bit of research on it, but You know, basically every issue comes down to physical, spiritual, mental blockages and trash that we have deposited in our mind about sometimes it's like, you know, emotional history that we can't even identify, because it was literally when we were 2 years old and we can't even identify that we saw a dog fall down the stairs and break its leg, and we were very sad but didn't know how to process that emotion at 2 years old, right? And so sometimes it's just simple things like that we don't know why we have something stuck somewhere in our body, why we have issues in different places, and a lot of things are like obvious, a lot more superficial that we can figure out too. Yeah, Rising Love, charcoal you use solo. Yeah, that's probably, thanks. I'd probably do that too. I just didn't, you know, until I was just thinking about it. It's funny because I try to use the same things for everything I do. Like I made a charcoal toothpaste, and it included turmeric and kelp. And I was like, oh, well, I might as well just make a facial out of this too. And while it did work, and it's nice, yeah, using it separately would probably be a better idea. You know what's funny, Natasha? I have a picture of me on my Instagram with my face. I'm pretty sure with my face covered in a charcoal mud bath, a charcoal facial. And yeah, I'll do like maybe I'll do some more intimate things where I can do like the YouTube like over 18, where we'll do like you know, facials and weird things that I might do. We could get into like, it'd be actually an enema where I will really do an enema on camera. We'll get real crazy with it. Like, that's nasty. Oh my God, we gotta look at Zen's butthole. Oh, very funny. Alright, Electric Doll, see you soon. You should be fixing this in the electric universe. You can put a Faraday cage around your computer, it might help. Smoker's lungs, positive vibrations, yeah. There's a couple good herbs that you can smoke. Most of the problems with the smoker's lungs is not 99% is not the tobacco, it's all of the other chemicals. And actually, to rid your lungs of the dilemmas you'd get into, man, I don't know why I can't think of the names of these off the top of my head, but there's a couple specific herbs that are good for the lungs. Smokable herbs. You're just going to be doing it less, and they're obviously going to come from a good source that aren't sprayed with all the chemicals. Other things that you can eat and consume would be collard greens are good, leafy greens because they actually look like the lungs when you unfold them. Grapes grow and they look like the lungs. So grapes and leafy greens are lung food. And then obviously breathing exercises. Yeah, Rising Love already knew about them grapes. Thank you for the laughing face. There we go. I told you that's what I work for. There he is. Focus. There it is. Yeah, turmeric is good for the teeth, man. I've seen people they do just like a whole toothpaste out of just turmeric, where your teeth will be a little bit orangish for the day, but you know, so do it on the weekend, but the next day they should be whiter. But I would say if you're gonna do turmeric and then do a charcoal scrub afterwards. That should shine them up a little bit. But obviously, if you want great teeth health, you have to have good organ health. Rising Love my butt, exactly. Just Jose, you just bought some wireless Dre Beats. Do I think that they'll have an effect on your health? Let me talk. I got my wireless things here. I mean, we always gotta balance things out between benefit cost scenario. Like I like music more than it's gonna affect me negatively because when you gotta look at it, man, we're surrounded by all sorts of pulsing electromagnetism everywhere, every day. Yeah, we shouldn't be putting our phone right up against our head, and yeah, the headphones probably ain't the best thing, but you know, the the balance. If you're getting good music out of it, I mean, the harmony of the quality music, is that overriding the frequency of the electromagnetic pulses of what's happening on the Bluetooth? I think that's a question that I can't answer because I don't know. My feeling is that yeah, I think that as long as you're playing good music, I think it's going to override the negatives of it. And you can play with what you feel about that, what you think about that, but I think so. Ha, Peter, yeah, that's awesome. The ocean talks back. Oh, ask the ocean. The ocean is the infinite abyss, huh? Hydrogen peroxide, and then oil. Yeah, hydrogen peroxide is good stuff. Get the food grade, 35%, and then break it down. Interesting. Yes, the sun for everything. Yeah, rather than the water. Well, different places, different times. You can ask any of the elements, I assume, huh? Yeah, Stephen, I would believe that the Bluetooth have much less of effect in the phone directly. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, and Rise Now, I believe with that. I believe that too. If you already vibrating at a place, like what's going to really affect you? It does. It's like noise canceling headphones. Like your vibration would be canceling that out anyways. And then getting back into just what I said, if you're playing good music rather than garbage music, I think it cancels it out too. Even if you want, think about it. Somebody's walking around all like depressed or whatever, and you put on some headphones that are Bluetooth, but you put on some really good music. All of a sudden, they ain't depressed anymore. All of a sudden, you've changed their brain waves and their brain chemistry, and it seems to be better. Yeah, but most people, I think, are listening to trash ass music, so no wonder their brains getting all fucked up. You've communed with the merfolk. Yeah, Natasha, I got almost pulled underwater by a siren of the mermaid variety, many times. Steven, I think you know the answer to what do I think of microwaving my food. If people still have a microwave right now and haven't figured that one out, like you're well behind the game. You should never microwave your food. You're plasticizing it. The microwave has no use for cooking food for a million reasons. And it has to do with, I think I went over this the other day, and it was even like cooking food over flame is better than cooking over an electric stove is better than putting it in a microwave because you're changing the atomic structure of the food in a microwave. And when you're cooking with an electric stove, there's the energy that's coming through the pan is different than if it comes out of the organic heating of what a flame does. A flame gives you essentially a. It doesn't give you a is going to pulse hot and then cold. It's inorganic essentially. It's still better than a microwave. And a microwave is just garbage. What up, Skyhopper? Ha 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 ha. Halloween, pumpkins, yes. The candles inside Cinderella, I like that. I'm sure you've seen the whole bit that I did on the connection to candles and Wiccans and magic and why the wicks and the hexes of the honey and all that. You know all that. And whoever doesn't, I highly suggest. That was a fun video to make that I made. It was all about witchery and where the words come from and why they use the wax from the wax from the bee's hive and what the hexagram has to do with that. And even the glow that you get out of a candle when you use beeswax, you'll see the Halloween, you'll see the halo around the candle, where if you use a different kind of candle, like a soy candle or something else, you won't see the halo around the flame, because there's something to do with the electric charge. And they've even looked into this. You're basically creating negative ions and kind of an energetic field. And so you have a much different result in any of your magical practices if you were to use a candle that is soy versus a candle that's made out of beeswax. Yeah, studies show that losing vitamins, minerals, sure. And you're basically losing vitamins and minerals not because it's shorter, but literally because it's changing the form. It's rearranging the molecules. Like you're changing something to plastic, literally. You could put something in the microwave and all of a sudden it comes out all rubbery and plastic because you've really plasticized it. And when we think about everything in culture, it's about turning things to plastic. Any thoughts on gematria, Peter? Yeah, I've always said that gematria is great, but don't you... I use gematria to, like, as a third level. Everything I use comes out of the shape of the letters and what I know of them as a hieroglyph, and then the sound of the letter, and I those are more important. And I use gematria as basically, let me just make sure this fits. You know, that's the last step. If I'm like, I don't know, is this right? I'll use gematria to say, does gematria agree with this? Because there is a connection to numbers and letters, but realizing in the actual world, numbers don't really exist, but there's a good coding mechanism, but that coding came after the sound. The sound was first, then the hieroglyph, then the numbers. So I use gematria down the line. It can be used in the beginning, like you can look at gematria and see, you can play with words in that way, but I think it can do a lot to cause too much duality in people's minds if they don't know what's going on. If you haven't already used etymology, and if you already don't know the shape of the letters and what they mean from looking at them like a hieroglyph, then I think it can do more harm than good, because there's a lot of people out here that use gematria exclusively, and you know what? They tend to be pretty aggressive at things and pretty angry because they always look at the one angle of the word that speaks about the New World Order and craziness. Is gematria what the Matrix is? To a degree, man. Yeah. But that's why I use it third, you know what I'm saying? Like, because it's just it refines something. Like if I use a word that I want to decode, I'll decode it the way that I understand letters and moving. If I can flip this word around, if I can get rid of this vowel, if I know what the letter P stands for, and then I go in and set it against a gematria system. Because also the problem with gematria, Peter, and again, it's not even a problem, is there are so many gematria systems. Off the top of my head, I could probably name 10 right now. Whether you're using Jewish Kabbalah, whether you're using English ordinal, are you going to use some higher level stuff like Assisian codes? If you use an Assisian code, that's way different. You could use a Masonic codex. So now all of a sudden these numbers and letters are coded together as keys in a different way. So if you don't know what code is being used, you could be giving yourself the wrong answer. Does that make sense? Yeah, I'll be right back. I'm going to go pee into something. Well, it's a little near coffee today. I definitely taste some of the herbs that I took yesterday. Oh, you could hear me peeing, yo? I don't know. I figured my curtains at my kitchen you wouldn't be able to hear. Well, what's worse, listening to me pee or listening to me drink this? Here, you can listen to me drink. We're doing ASMR again. Tasty. See, it's funny. I should just do a video live on camera, Zen drinking piss. Then I'll get like 1 million views and people like, oh my god, you drink your pee, you're so weird. So yeah, Peter, I'm glad that was helpful. Yeah. Always remember, the numbers came after the letters. The numbers don't solve anything. They're just showing you another matrix. Enochian symbols? Awesome. Oh, is this, well, it's also in a cup. It's kind of, and you got a little green background. It's like against the carpet. It is a little bit green though. It has a little bit of that like, it's funny because I took a lot of green herbs yesterday. And I drank coffee this morning. So I got a little bit of that cycle through of the flavor of the coffee and the flavor of the herbs. Yeah, you know what, love, Katesh, it's so funny. I've always thought about doing that, and I did that with a couple videos a while back. Like, I did it on the Kanye West thing and something else. And it wasn't really clickbait because I talked about it, and I really wanted to dig into it. But I realized it was just, I don't want that kind of audience. I don't want people to have to, pull along and it's not for me to convince people about urine therapy, I'd rather have people that are already curious about it rather than be like, oh, look at this idiot drinking his pee-pee. Oh, Natasha, you just chug it back? It takes me, I would normally chug it back, but it's a little outside of where I would normally, the flavor profile that I enjoy. Oh, I can take that. I can taste the bitterness a little bit of the herbs. Rising Love, you're a closet drinker? Well, now you're not anymore. I'm putting you on blast. I'm letting everybody know. Oh, Natasha, for real? Have you ever seen someone drink piss before, Natasha? And tell me you're a pee virgin. Come on, you never done anything weird like peed on someone or gotten peed on? Come on. I guarantee you have. Come on. Say word. No? Okay, here, watch. Here you go, Natasha. There you go. You seen someone drink piss? There it is. Yeah, it's pretty much the greatest thing in the world. Like right now, I'm doing a little bit of as I usually do when I get a little dehydrated. I'm out in public doing a lot of shit. I don't stay hydrated and I eat a lot of shit. I immediately have problems with blood flow to my feet and ankles, just because of so many injuries through the years, and then add that with the dumb diet, so I get like a little bit of clogs going on down there, and the piss being a blood thinner as well as like even a little alcohol helps to thin the blood, and it will help, circulation issues. Not as bad. Yeah, Katesh, how long have you been? I don't think I ever discussed this with you. How long have you been doing the PP? And who got you into it? In fact, yeah, Johnny, it's not as bad as you think, and in fact, once you're somewhat healthy, it's preferable. I don't know anybody that's been drinking piss for a long time that doesn't actually prefer. Does anybody know who Johnny Goldbeard is? Check out Johnny Goldbeard's video. He's an amazingly wonderful, heartfelt cat, and he puts some videos out there. Johnny Goldbeard, and he talks about his pee and how excellent it is. Yeah, he's I'd definitely say check him out, Johnny Goldbeard. Your grandfather did. That's awesome. So you super native, huh? Kitesh, you're super native. You're Aboriginal for sure, huh? Unveiled Mysteries, Pithor. Can you hit me up with that on one of my other videos? Just go to one of my other videos and put it beneath. So that way I have it, and I'll just catch your email or your I'll catch that in my email that you said that, and then I'll be able to check that video. Damien, I helped you with drinking pee. That's awesome, man. That's my claim to fame is I've gotten quite a few people to drink piss. At least a dozen people that I know of. And then there's a bunch of people probably online that just have never said it was, but that's awesome, man. Your fellow goddesses might be laughing at you. Well, you know what? Just do it, Natasha. Just do it on the low. Ain't nobody got to know about you. It's just like whenever you're fasting. For most people, you should never tell anybody else you're fasting. Just do it. You ain't gonna be all out and out public about it. I mean, you can slide me an email, be like, "Oh my God, Zen, I did it. I did it. It was crazy, and I felt good." And I was like, I can think better, and it's so perfect. I'm gonna be drinking pee all the time now, and no one's gonna know. It's gonna be my dirty little secret. Dirty little secret. I'm such a bad girl. That's funny. Skyhopper, no emails then. Mine is errrybody@gmail.com. I'm gonna do that right now, but didn't you hit me up? Let me see, man. You hit me up on the Theoluminous, right? I'm gonna look at that right now, man. Hey, so Skyhopper, you sent it to me. I got your email the other day from. Oh yeah, I got it. ARA.palm. Yeah, I got you. That's your last. Okay, I got you, man. So you hit me the other day, and it just basically said, yeah. Did you just send me an email today? You're saying, man? Because I got one from the 9th. I don't have anything from you after that. Oh, yeah, I got Skyhopper drinking the PP too, man. He was already high level magician. Oh, Natasha, come on. That's my standard voice. That's my standard voice for anybody. For anybody that isn't me, male or female, really. It's especially fun to do that when it's a male. Yeah, so Skyhopper, I don't know if you're saying like gift-wise. I mean, I just got a... You know, I don't know what else you sent me, man. If it was right to that email, like yeah, I mean, I got the. Yeah, it says tried the other email, but it bounced back. I got that. I got one email from you. Oh, wicked, man. Skyhopper, can you Skyhopper, check any one of my other videos, and it will have the three. Oh, did you hit me up on the PayPal? Because it's paypal.me/TSARXEN. If that's the PayPal that I got now. And then the other two are either Square Cash, which is, I think PayPal there might be a percentage to use, but I think Square Cash is free. Yeah. Yeah, you just push the PayPal logo and it takes you there. There you go. I would do it at the beginning of these videos, but sometimes it might even be on the description of this video. Is it on the description of this video, guys? I don't know. What up, Unstance? Holy Ninas. Oh, you know, hey, Natasha, did you do it through? Because remember, I texted you and said that email you sent me, like that's not connected to the PayPal. The other thing is, it's a different email. But I didn't check yet though. but I'm sure if you hit the Zarzen thing, it should have took you directly there. But wicked cool. I appreciate it, guys, for sure. Hey, I'm Peter. I just got your thing. I try not to open up my other computer whenever I'm on these things because I don't want to suck up the internet connection to have this whole thing fouling here. So cool, wicked. Oh, there's a pee burp right there. Yeah, the pee thing, Natasha, is a big leap, but you know, once you get over the kind of mental things and you get over the kind of just the general smell, right after that, man, like it changes so much in your system. It changes a lot. It'll change a lot about the way you see the world and the way you even mentally function. Not even talking out the physical realm, but just like mentally, you're just like, wow, that wasn't so hard. In fact, it was way different. Yeah. In fact, like Katesh says, if you the moment you can do that, it will actually somehow you'll judge yourself less. Because like right now, people are like, oh, that's disgusting. Like, no, that came out of you. And then you put it back in your body, and you're like, oh, that's actually not disgusting. And then you start, then the judgment of yourself kind of changes too. I found it very like actualizing some sort of self-worth, self-love, and just less judgment of self, rather than saying that's some disgusting thing that came out of my body. Zek Chrono, am I familiar with the 7 steps of transformative alchemy? No, not specifically. I'll look into it though. Can I fix it so you can push the logo? Yeah, I'll try to do that in the future. I'll see how that works. I definitely will. See, man, Natasha, I'm dumber than you because I don't even know how to put it up there. But it's a little more funny playing through the phone, you know. I'm doing it from an Android phone, so like when I get onto, I gotta actually go through pushing a button to make it a desktop version. But then I'm using a desktop with my big thumbs and a tiny little phone, and you know, accessing the YouTube that way. It's weird. I don't know. It doesn't always It's weird. I can't figure out how to get it to work through the live shows. It doesn't link up perfectly, so I can't like load the description box there. I have to do it live before each show. It's weird. So unless I'm broadcasting something that I already recorded, I don't know. It's weird. When you drink your pee, you go X-ray. That's for sure. When I did my long urine fast, I don't know if you ever listened to that, Hopper, or anybody else. By the 31st day, maybe, I don't know, somewhere on the 30th day, I could see through my eyelids. Like there was no Like me and the person I was doing it with, on me, I was like, can you see the room right now? She's like, yeah. And I was like, your eyes are closed, and we could see the room. We could see our body. Basically, we were seeing the energetic symbol and principle of what was occurring everywhere. I could see the ceiling fan in my hands with my eyes closed. It was pretty crazy. And that was just off of spring water. Calcination. Okay, yeah, I mean, and that I thought you were saying something like there was some other, the 7 steps of transformative alchemy, like Zet Krona. I thought you were saying like that was something besides just the 7 standard steps. Yeah, I understand that. Peter, you know how Hollywood, yeah, sure. But the idea of Hollywood and the magic is until you become a magician, that's going to happen. it's all about steering emotion rather than magic is done with feelings. But the moment that we get outside of our feelings, we become attached to emotions, which are either what we'll get in the future or what's happened in the past. So the strings are pulled through emotional ties. But if you get outside of emotions, you get outside of past, and you get outside of future, and that's where you get inside of magic and using feeling to direct magic. And that's, that's hard to do, but that's where magic comes from. Wow, you seen the orange body? That's crazy, man. I don't remember what color I was seeing, but that's interesting. That would seem to be kind of like the Tron movie. The orange and that blue. It's really interesting. There was a time a long time ago when I was doing I forget what the alchemical, it wasn't a monoatomic, it was something else. And I was able to see the red matrix, basically the grid pattern of the red matrix that seemed to be overlaid because of the moon. I mean, that's what I assume now, but at the time I could just see as I was waking up from my, I was in between the dream world and the awake world, and I could see the red cubic pattern, the red grid. It was pretty interesting. Yeah, Skyhopper is Supermaster. Skyhopper, unless he already knows, he don't even know it on the low. He don't even do a lot, but whenever he's around, he's a master teacher. Skyhopper, I don't remember you saying that, but that's amazing. You thought you were going to ejaculate and you didn't. You was just going pee. That's awesome. I've had something similar, I assume. I've had that in like the human body experience. And I've had it outside of body where like I had a dream where the ejaculation was the pee when I woke up. And then I've also had like in this waking life like a similar thing, which is very interesting. But I forced that. I made that happen. Ah, that's wicked, man. Oh, now I do remember Skyhopper. Yeah. I didn't associate that story with you. I don't know why. That's very funny. Instance, yeah. Whenever that happened for me, it was more out of like that was the point of it. Like like she asked me to, and it was quite interesting and awesome. Because that's like super control that you're like when you're in that position of mass amounts of arousal and wanting to have an orgasm, but then opening up the other portal to actually urine, that's intense. Natasha, that's why I sit at home all day. It's too difficult to walk in public. or I take a wheelchair in public. It's easier. Yeah, the peeing while having sex. Yeah, that's what I was saying, Katesh. Like that, I integrated masculine too. Like peeing during intercourse. It's fucking awesome. If you haven't tried it, try it. But make sure that you have the proper. I don't know. put some towels down. All right. Yeah, Pitor. Good to see you, man. Stay awesome. Do cool things. Inspire the world. And if you can't do that, at least have regular bowel movements. Yeah, Katesh, that's big. That's big stuff right there. Because it opens up the fact that everything isn't so naughty, and if you can do that, it's so connected. It's all connected down there. To be able to actually open your body up to being able to urinate well sex, like, yeah, to have an orgasm is much easier. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a woman, but that's what I've heard. Instance. So who else is in here? We got the Hopper, Tash and Unstance. Johnny, yeah. Unstance. Unstance, did I ever ask you where you're from? Did we ever discuss this? Are you from the United States of America? Are you from overseas? From another place? Oh, that's right, Alabama. That's right. All right, Rising Love, you out of here? Take care. Do good things. Is that Chrono still up in here? Cool. Ah, nice. Natasha, that's wicked. That's awesome. Not too many chicks can actually make it to rain. There's too much guilt in that area, and usually, more often than not, they have inadequate lovers that don't have much. They don't pay attention to the details and the focus, and go through the proper unlocking mechanisms of the female body. Yeah, interesting, Skyhopper. Yeah, times that I've been away from sex due to whatever, either choice or just whatever. Yeah, definitely I've noticed much more of the feminine nature of sexuality and understanding that part. Source surf 2 times. It's so amazing. So was female ejaculation, Natasha, was that you doing it, or was that with others involved? Others, another, or others? Oh, you're in training. Are you laughing over there? Are you laughing? That's why you be quiet. Sensei. Hello, well. Well, y'all, like I said earlier, I don't know, this went on for 2 minutes, 22 seconds, and 2 hours, 22 minutes, and 22 seconds. I think I'm gonna, so I can divide this up so people in the future can catch this. I'll probably get off of here in a minute and then get back on with a different topic, and get into the other things we're gonna chat about, so this doesn't turn into one 5-hour diatribe, so when people in the future kind of click on these things, they can kind of find what they're looking for. Oh, sensei. Yeah, Natasha, I'll see you. I'll see you guys in a little bit. I think I'm gonna go catch myself a little snack, and I'll be on here in probably next 15 minutes, and we'll start a new subject. And whoever can show up, great. We'll see you then. Until then, do cool things. Yeah, Johnny Kate, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I'm gonna go if this food inspires me to do this 101, or if I want to get into that flat Earth subject. See you, hey, Unstance. As Unstance says, see you ejaculators soon. I will see you. You are the ejaculate, Unstance. And so Skyhopper, hope you found that thing. That'd be cool. I'll try to reset it too before the next show, so everybody can just click on it. All right, I'll see you in a little bit, y'all.